Precision over chance, funny thing, isn't it? Most people cling to this idea that life is a big cosmic roulette table spinning out random outcomes. They wrap themselves in that excuse like a warm blanket. Oh, things just happen. Oh, I just got lucky. Oh, that wasn't really me. They love chance because it lets them avoid responsibility for their own potential. It keeps them comfortable, predictable, harmless. But you stepped away from that safety net the moment you chose precision. And that choice changes everything about how you move, how you think, how you strike. Precision isn't about being perfect. No, it's about knowing exactly what you're doing, even when the world thinks you're just improvising. It's the quiet discipline behind the chaos you allow people to see, the hidden structure beneath your so-called spontaneity. It's the difference between someone fumbling in the dark and someone who already drew the map, memorized it, burned it, and walked through the fire with a smile anyway. Precision means you're not waiting for the stars to align. You're dragging them into formation with your bare hands. Most people mistake precision for stiffness, for rigidity, for some boring, mechanical approach to life. But real precision? Oh, it's alive. It breathes. It adapts. It laughs at obstacles because it already calculated their collapse. It isn't a straight line, it's a dance. A dangerous, deliberate dance where every step looks effortless because you've already rehearsed the consequences in your mind 100 times. You're not reacting, you're orchestrating, and that unnerves people more than anything. The idea that someone can be that focused while looking like they're having the time of their life. Precision over chance means you don't leave your impact to fate. You shape it. You sharpen it. You aim it right where it needs to land. And when it lands, people call it luck because they can't comprehend the level of thought behind it. They see the moment, not the preparation. They see the strike, not the strategy. They see the outcome, not the obsession that fueled it. They don't understand that while they were busy hoping things would work out, you were busy ensuring that they would. Not by magic, not by accident, but by intention. You chose not to float through life like a leaf waiting for the wind. No, you decided to become the storm. A precise storm, mind you, one that knows exactly which roofs to rip off and which windows to rattle. You act with a kind of calm conviction that frightens those who depend on chance, because you expose their lack of control. You remind them of everything they could be if they stopped hiding behind excuses. And people don't like being reminded of their unrealized potential. It makes them uncomfortable. It makes them defensive. It makes them watch you with a mix of envy, fear, and fascination. Precision is not loud. It does not brag. It doesn't need to. It speaks through results. It whispers through perfectly timed actions. It shows itself in moments where others crumble, but you stay centered, unshaken, almost amused. Because you knew this moment was coming. You prepared for it. You planned for it. And when it arrived, you didn't hesitate. You executed. Clean, controlled, inevitable. And that's the real power of choosing precision over chance. You turn life into something you're not just experiencing, but directing. You make every move count, every second matter, every choice deliberate. While everyone else is praying for a lucky break, you're out there carving your own path with a steady hand and an unshakable mind. Confidence in chaos now, that's a delightful little paradox people love to admire from a safe distance. They watch someone stand calm while the world shakes, and they whisper words like fearless, crazy, or reckless, because they can't comprehend the possibility that someone might actually feel comfortable in a moment where everything is uncertain, unstable, unpredictable. Chaos scares them. It exposes how fragile their routines are, how little control they actually have, how easily their carefully arranged little plans can crumble with a single unexpected twist. But you don't flinch when things fall apart. You don't cling to the illusion of order like it's a lifeline. You breathe in the disorder like oxygen, as if every crack in the system opens a new door for you to step through with a grin. Confidence in chaos isn't about pretending the world isn't shaking. It's about refusing to let the shaking dictate your next move. It's the refusal to be thrown off balance just because circumstances get loud and messy. It's the ability to stand there, right in the middle of the storm, with dust and doubt swirling everywhere, and still think clearly enough to pick your path, while everyone else is frantically searching for solid ground. People assume calmness means comfort, but no real calmness comes from mastery. Chaos doesn't intimidate you because you understand it, maybe even appreciate it. It reveals truths that order hides. It shows who's real, who's bluffing, who's prepared, who's weak, who's just hoping no one notices them shaking. Most people crumble at the first sign of unpredictability. They want guarantees, blueprints, safety nets. They want everything to follow the script inside their heads. And when it doesn't, they panic. They freeze. They desperately try to glue the pieces back together, instead of realizing that broken pieces can be rearranged into something new, something sharper, something that gives them an edge if they're bold enough to use it. But confidence in chaos means you don't need the old shape. You don't need the familiar. You don't need everything to make sense before you move. You walk through the unknown like it's a hallway you've visited 1,000 times, not because it's predictable, but because you trust your ability to adapt faster than the world can collapse a sea. Chaos is honest. It doesn't pretend to be fair. It doesn't follow rules. It doesn't care about expectations. And that's precisely why you thrive in it. Because you're not looking for fairness or comfort. You're looking for opportunity. While others are too busy being overwhelmed by everything going wrong, you're scanning the debris for the opening no one else noticed. You're not intimidated by the noise because you know how to listen through it. You hear the patterns hidden inside the disorder, the rhythm beneath the wreckage, the tiny cracks where your next move fits perfectly. Confidence in chaos means you don't wait for silence before acting. You don't wait for clarity before deciding. You don't need perfect conditions because you know perfect conditions never come. You trust your instincts, your timing, your ability to read a situation even when it looks unreadable to everyone else. And that terrifies people who rely on stability because they realize you're not dependent on the same comforts they cling to. They realize that when things fall apart, you don't fall with them. You rise through the fractures. You maneuver while they hesitate. You glide while they grasp for certainty, and that's the unsettling beauty of it. Chaos doesn't break you. It reveals you. It strips away the artificial layers people hide behind and shows the raw, unfiltered version of who you truly are. The one who doesn't just survive disorder, but moves through it with a kind of amused confidence that suggests you were built for exactly these moments. Calculated intent behind every move. Now that's where people really start to get nervous. Because most of them wander through life reacting, stumbling, guessing, hoping their decisions somehow land in the right place. They call it going with the flow. But really it's just drifting, letting circumstances push them around like leaves in a current. No direction, no depth, no real thought behind their actions. But you don't drift. You don't just act, you can intend. And that difference is what separates someone who participates in life from someone who shapes it. See, calculated intent isn't about being cold or emotionless. No, it's about being awake in a world full of sleepwalkers. It's about knowing why you're doing something even when no one else understands it. It's that quiet, constant awareness humming beneath your every decision. The kind that makes people wonder if you're 2 steps ahead or 10, because they can't figure out how you always seem to land exactly where you meant to be. They assume you're lucky. They assume you're guessing. They assume a lot. But the truth is far simpler. You know what you're doing, and you don't waste moves every gesture, every choice, every word. You place them like pieces on a board only you can see clearly. While others rush to act just to feel busy, you sit still long enough to let the situation unfold, to study the cracks forming beneath the surface, to wait for that perfect moment when one small move creates a ripple that touches everything. People mistake stillness for hesitation, but calculated intent is anything but hesitant. It's patient, it's precise, it's deliberate. You don't swing wildly at problems. You carve through them with surgical calm, like someone who already knows how the scene ends, and oh, how that unnerves those who live on impulse. They're so used to reacting instantly, emotionally, sloppily, that when they meet someone who moves with purpose, they don't know how to interpret it. They can't tell if you're planning something or if you've already planned everything. They can't tell if you're predictable or completely uncontrollable. Because when intent replaces impulse, your actions stop following the usual patterns. You're not driven by fear. You're not rushed by pressure. You don't crumble under uncertainty. You act only when the moment is ripe, and when you do, the impact is unmistakable. Calculated intent turns small actions into big consequences. It turns simple decisions into quiet power. When you choose to move, it matters. When you choose to speak, people listen. When you choose to stay silent, that silence becomes louder than their noise. Others waste energy on every tiny distraction life throws their way, but you conserve yours, channeling it into moves that actually shift the ground beneath your feet. That's what separates momentum from chaos. One is direction, the other is noise. You choose direction every time, and, of course, there's the part that fascinates people the most. The way you can appear unpredictable while being more intentional than anyone else in the room. They think unpredictability comes from randomness, but real unpredictability comes from intent so deep, so layered, so internal, that no one can trace your reasoning until after the dust settles. And by then, it's too late for them to catch up. They're left wondering how you saw what they missed, how you decided so quickly, how you moved so cleanly. But you didn't decide quickly. You decided intentionally. You were simply waiting for the world to catch up to the moment. You'd already prepared for calculated intent behind every move means you're not gambling with your life, your future, or your impact. You're crafting it. Every choice you make has weight, purpose, direction. Even the moves that look impulsive are anything but. They're just invisible until the moment you choose to reveal them. And that's what makes your presence unsettling, intriguing, unforgettable. You're not guessing your way through the chaos. You're guiding it with a steady hand and a mind that refuses to waste a single move, turning pressure into power. Now that's where most people crumble, isn't it? The moment life starts squeezing them, they squeal, they panic, they beg for relief like the pressure is some kind of punishment. They treat stress like a villain lurking in the shadows, ready to snap them in half. They forget pressure doesn't break you. It just reveals the cracks that were already there. But you don't fear the squeeze. You welcome it. You let it wrap around you, tighten its grip, and instead of collapsing, you've transformed. Right in the middle of it, pressure is a funny thing. It exposes people, strips away their rehearsed faces, their polished smiles, their fragile confidence. Under pressure, the truth always shows. And for most, that truth is fear. But when you're built different, when you're wired to thrive in the heat instead of hide from it, pressure doesn't reveal fear. It reveals focus. It reveals strength. It reveals that eerie calm you carry when things get intense, the kind of calm that makes everyone else wonder how you manage to breathe so easily while they're suffocating. People think pressure creates diamonds. Cute little saying, but the truth is, pressure only creates diamonds out of something that could survive it in the first place. And you, your mind, your composure, your instincts, they're already forged tougher than whatever life throws at you. Pressure doesn't transform you into something new. It strips away the unnecessary parts so the sharpest version of you can step forward. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's just you refusing to let circumstances dictate your limits. Most people break because they fight pressure the wrong way. They tense up, try to resist it, try to outrun it, and that resistance snaps them. But you move differently. You don't resist pressure. You redirect it. You let it push you, shape you, sharpen you. You use the weight of it to gain momentum, like someone who knows the crushing force can actually become a launch pad if you lean into it with the right mindset. While others are trying to shove the world off their shoulders, you're using that same world as leverage to rise higher, faster, stronger. Turning pressure into power is an art. It's knowing exactly when to bend and exactly when to stand your ground. It's feeling the heat and laughing because you know you're not the one in danger. The situation is. It's understanding that pressure isn't a cage. It's a catalyst. The louder life gets, the more clearly you hear your own direction. The tighter things become, the stronger your grip gets. While everyone else is losing control, you're taking it. While they're freezing up, you're lighting up. They see obstacles, you see ignition, and oh, The way pressure changes your energy. It doesn't weaken you. It concentrates you. It condenses every scattered bit of strength, rage, ambition, clarity into a single focused point. The kind of point that can cut through anything. People who fear pressure mistake your calmness for arrogance, your confidence for madness, your steadiness for something unnatural. But they don't realize you're not calm despite the pressure. You're calm because of it. It brings out the part of you that's been waiting quietly for the right moment to take over. When pressure hits, others go into survival mode, but you slip into execution mode. You become intentional, precise, almost disturbingly comfortable. You don't get flustered. You don't shake. You don't rush. You channel everything, the tension, the uncertainty, the intensity. You convert every ounce of it into energy you can use. And the moment you move, oh, that's when the world realizes the pressure didn't crush you at all. It fueled you. It fed you. It gave you the fire you needed to strike with a level of force they never saw coming, making execution look effortless. That's the part that drives people absolutely insane. Because they know how much they struggle, how much they grind their teeth, how much they trip over their own doubts just to get the smallest things done. And then there you are, moving like it's all second nature. Like you're gliding through moments that should be difficult. Like the weight that crushes everyone else somehow floats right past you. They can't wrap their heads around it. They whisper things like natural talent or born gifted, because it's easier to believe you were handed something than to accept you earned it through a mindset they could never hold long enough without trembling. See, making execution look effortless isn't about hiding the work. It's about rewriting how work feels. It's about moving with such clarity, such sharp internal conviction, that the outside world only sees the surface smooth, casual, almost playful. They don't see the gears turning behind your grin. They don't see the preparation buried behind your calm. They don't see the 1,000 times you ran the scenario in your mind before you ever took your first step. They think the execution is the whole story, but it's just the final flick of the wrist, the last domino in a line you set up quietly, patiently, deliberately. People assume ease means a lack of effort, but you know better. Effort isn't loud. It doesn't need to announce itself. It sits in the shadows, building you piece by piece, until you're able to perform in a way that looks almost suspicious. And that's what gets them, the suspicion. They keep waiting for the moment you break stride, the moment you stumble, the moment you show the strain they feel every single day. But the moment never comes, because you've trained your mind to move differently. Where they tense up, you loosen. Where they panic, you breathe. Where they hesitate, you flow. Execution looks effortless when you stop battling yourself. When you stop second-guessing every move. When you stop drowning in what-ifs. You cut away all the noise, all the extra weight, all the nonsense that slows people down. And once the mind clears, the body follows. That's where the smoothness comes from. The kind of smoothness that looks insane to someone who's used to struggling through every step. It's not magic, it's mastery. The kind of mastery people dream about, but never commit to, and the beauty of it. When execution looks easy, people underestimate you. They don't realize how much danger a calm person represents. Loud effort is predictable. Quiet precision is terrifying. They mistake your ease for carelessness, not realizing that the calm ones are always the most prepared, the most intentional, the most deadly in their efficiency. You move like someone who doesn't need to try, because you already know exactly where you're going. And when people finally catch on, it's already too late for them to match your pace. Making execution look effortless is also a form of psychological warfare. It sends a message without ever saying a word. This is nothing for me. And that message burrows into minds. It makes people doubt themselves. It makes them question their own strength. It makes them hesitate around you, because something in them recognizes that you're not playing the same game they are. They're struggling to get their footing while you're walking on air, but the real secret is that ease isn't the goal. Flow is. Alignment is. When your intentions, actions, and instincts line up, the world slows down for you. Pressure stops being pressure. Chaos stops being chaos. Challenges stop being threats. Everything becomes a stage for you to move on, and your movements become something people can't predict, can't replicate, can't ignore. And that's why execution looks effortless when you do it. Because it's not about proving how hard you worked. It's about showing how deeply you understand what you're doing. It's about stepping into the moment with a kind of casual confidence that turns even the most difficult tasks into something that looks almost artistic. And as the world watches, confused and captivated, they're left wondering how someone like you manages to do so much with so little strain, unaware that the real work happened long before they ever saw you take a single step, leaving the world questioning your limits. That's when things get delicious. Because people love to believe they've got you figured out. They put you in neat little boxes, slap labels on you, pretend they can predict your next move. It makes them feel safe, like they understand the rules of the game. But you refuse to play by rules that small. Every time they think they've reached the edges of what you can do, you casually step right past those edges, like they were never really there. And nothing unnerves people more than someone who refuses to be measured. See, most folks walk around broadcasting their limits without even realizing it. You can hear it in their tone, see it in their posture, feel it in their hesitation. They tell the world exactly how far they can go, and the world happily obliges by keeping them right there. But you don't announce your limits. You don't parade your weaknesses. You don't hand people a map of your boundaries. Instead, you operate in the unknown, the uncharted, the space where people start whispering. How is he doing this? That whisper. That's the sound of their certainty breaking. Leaving the world questioning your limits isn't about showing off. It's about showing depth, layers, unpredictability, the kind of presence that forces people to rethink everything they assumed. You move one way and they think they've got your pattern. Then you switch effortlessly, and their entire understanding unravels. You succeed in situations where you shouldn't. You stay calm in moments where no one expects calm. You strike when everyone assumes you're done. It's not randomness, it's range. And range is terrifying to people who only know how to move in straight lines. When the world questions your limits, it's because you keep doing things that contradict their expectations. They see your strength and think that's all there is. Then you show them strategy. They see your strategy and think that's the core. Then you show them patience. They see your patience and think they've found your weakness. Then you show them precision. Every time they land on an answer, you present a new question. Every time they think they've pinned you down, you slip right through their fingers and appear somewhere they never imagined. And let's be honest, people don't fear your abilities as much as they fear your unpredictability. Abilities can be measured, techniques can be copied, but unpredictability, that keeps them awake at night because they can't prepare for someone who moves beyond the borders they rely on. They can't plan against someone who refuses to stay still long enough to be understood. When you have no visible ceiling, the world has no choice but to treat you like a threat they can't calculate. Leaving people questioning your limits also means they never know if they're seeing your full power or just the surface. And that uncertainty gives you leverage. It gives you presence. It gives you a kind of mystique that can't be faked. When you succeed, they wonder if you're finally showing your peak. When you fail, they wonder if you're just playing the long game. When you speak, they wonder if there's something deeper behind your words. You exist in that rare space where every action feels intentional, every silence feels loaded, every move feels like it might just be the beginning of something bigger. And the truth is, you're not trying to create mystery. You simply outgrow the limitations people try to place on you. You evolve faster than they can define you. You adapt quicker than they can observe you. You rise in ways they can't predict. And once they realize that, they stop asking who you are and start asking what you're capable of. That's when the fear kicks in. That's when the respect grows. That's when the room goes quiet just to see what you'll do next. Because deep down they know one thing. A person whose limits can't be seen is a person whose potential can't be stopped.